Hi, welcome to the Stark Museum of Art. My name is Jerry and we're here today for the SMA Sketch Club. I was walking around Gallery 2 looking for some inspiration for today's drawing, and I came upon one of my favorite things here at the museum, which is this piece of art. This is a sculpture by the artist Alexander Femster Proctor, and I'd like you to take a second to look at it. And who can tell me how this piece of art is different than, say, some of the paintings behind us? All right, I've told you it is a sculpture, so what does that mean? A sculpture is a three-dimensional piece of art, so you can see all the sides. If I wanted to, I could walk around it, whereas a painting is flat, two-dimensional. So Proctor was really interested in the animals of North America, especially in the wilderness, and he would hunt these animals and study them, and he would use what he learned in his artwork. So what do you think he learned about this panther? Well, if you look really closely, you can tell that the panther is in a very specific pose. What do you think he's doing? I think he's stalking, maybe hunting something. He kind of reminds me of my cat at home, when my cat kind of crouches down low and gets real slow movements and starts looking like he's going to go hunt something. And look at the body of this panther. What do you notice about the body? You can see the muscles, and you can see how strong he is by the way Proctor showed his muscles. And the look in his eyes and his face, he's very determined. So he's going after some prey, I believe. This sculpture reminds me of another piece of art that we have here at the Stark Museum of Art. Let's take a look at that. This piece of art is by an artist that you may be familiar with for his work with birds, John James Audubon. And the title of this piece is Common American Wildcat. Audubon is well known for his portrayal of the birds of North America, but after he finished with that project, he began work on the quadrupeds, or mammals of North America. And this is one of the first that he did, and it's a wildcat in a very different position than the panther that we looked at a few minutes ago. What do we think is happening with this big cat? Well, he's portrayed large, his teeth are bared, and this animal is looking directly at the viewer. So we could imagine that maybe something has startled this cat, or maybe it's also on the prowl, like the panther. We're not exactly sure, but it's a graceful, big cat, very similar to Proctor's panther. Looking at both of these pieces of art reminds me of my cat that I have at home. So let's go to the studio and let's draw a cat. We're going to be doing a really fun and pretty quick drawing of a cat. And it's going to be not a realistic cat, but kind of a cartoon cat. So let's get started. You're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. I'll draw with a marker so that it shows up for you. All right, so you've got your pencil in the hand that you write with or draw with. Your other hand, we're going to use it to make the shape of a cat's head. So what you do is you're going to turn your hand over, position it on the paper so that you've got some of your wrist here. This is going to be the neck of the cat, this is the face of the cat, and these are the ears. So what you do is you take your pencil and then make this kind of pointed, go over, that's the top of the cat's head, up for another ear, and then down. And then this is going to be our cat's face and head. All right, so here we go. Let's put some eyes on this cat, and there's lots of different ways you can make eyes. So if yours look different than mine, that's fine. I make mine different every time. But I'm gonna make a shape that kind of looks like a football, I guess. Put one there and one here. Now I'm going to Draw some circles inside. Now, cats' eyes are really interesting. If they're outside and it's really bright, they'll have little slits for their pupils. And if they're inside where it's a little bit darker, their pupils will get really big. So I'm going to make mine kind of in between. So I'll make mine kind of like that. But our eyes do that too. He's got some eyes. And I'm going to come down on each side. And that's going to be the start of the nose. Draw a line across. There are different ways to do the nose, but I'm just going to do an upside down triangle. Kind of like that. Sometimes I do a heart, sometimes I do an oval. And then we're going to draw a little line there. And now a mouth. So it looks like a happy cat. All right, let's go back up to the ears. And I'm going to make a line like that, so that, whoops, kind of went up a little bit higher. That's okay. To show the inside of the ear, and that's the outside of the ear. Then we'll do one here too. And sometimes you can see little hairs inside that ear. Alrighty. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to give this cat a collar. You don't have to give your cat a collar, but you can if you want to. So that's up to you. But I'm going to do a curved line and then another curved line. And you could decorate your collar any way you want to. I'm going to put little rectangles on mine. You could do polka dots, just stripes, or a solid color if you want it to be a solid color. It could be a solid color. I just want to do that. All right. Now, cats have markings on them, like little patterns on their fur. So my cat has kind of a pattern like this, kind of like a little stripe there, then a smaller stripe, and then another one. You might want to make yours different, that's okay. And my cat also has some little markings coming off the side of his face. Now, what am I forgetting? How about some whiskers? And to get the whiskers started, I'm going to do some little dots here on the side of the face. And then I'm going to flick. So I'm going to put my pencil or I'm going to put my marker down and then just flick to make some whiskers. And if you want to make the whiskers curly, you could make the whiskers curly. You could make them zigzag. You could have really a lot of fun with the whiskers. And cats will often have little whiskers growing right out of their forehead too. So you could even put a couple little whiskers up there. Well, I think this is very cat-like. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kind of extend that just a little bit. Now, if my cat had a really long tail, that tail might even be showing. So since this is going to be kind of a fun cat. There's a tail. And I could even put some stripes on the tail. All right, I think he looks pretty good. He'll look even nicer, I believe, with some color. So you can color it with markers or crayons or colored pencils. If you wanted to, you could write a cat's name. If you have a cat, you could write your cat's name at the top, or you could just pretend you had a cat and you could put a name for your cat. I want to show you some that I did in color. Here are some that I did. I believe this was the first one that I did. And I didn't put a tail on this one because I think I forgot to put the tail, but I did do a background for it. And I did the eyes different. Let's see. Here's one with curly whiskers. So there's lots of different ways to do it. And there's a little guy. I love those green eyes. And then I put some wavy whiskers on this one, and this one's looking up and is dreaming of fish, because cats like fish. So I hope you have fun drawing this cat, and you can draw lots of them. And I'll see you next time on Sketch Club. Bye-bye.